Cubby blue blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Lucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Lucho Scali.
Oh, baby. That's a Sunday morning Son Ranto call. You haven't done it for a while, so you were just like back on the horse. You're like, it's like riding a bike, is it not?
Yeah, and it's extra good today because Eli got home last night, and he is in the bedroom directly above me. So everyone else in my house is asleep until now. I'm assuming Eli is like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not doing Cubs pod this week. Screw you guys. Well, I do want to say that welcome to a Sunday morning version of Son Ranto. Lyle was supposed to be here, but he warned us that he was going to be hungover if he was able to make the show. And then this morning, he told us that his power is currently out because of storms that rolled through up in Maine. So in other words, he's hungover and he's making up lies that the power is out. And that's why he can't go. So he's full of shit. Anyway, thanks for being here.
Jumper has it. Lyle is at church.
No, little Yumper, you are at church right now. You are at Cubs church. It's called the Son Ranto Show. And welcome to all the people saying hashtag chance in the chat. Welcome, ranters. Bill Sugas is here. Morning, Bill. Chris Salato is here. Corey Furlong. And, of course, the aforementioned little Yumper. Welcome. So this is the Son Ranto Show brought to you by the Bleacher Bunch Productions on the Fans First Network, which brings you such great shows like Cup of Cubby Blue, Baseball Rabbit Hole, Cubs BS Plus, and Bricks Behind the Ivy. That's a lot of shows, Michael. That's a lot of shows we're giving people just in one RSS feed. I was at the Bleacher Nation party with Howard Ankin yesterday. It was at HVAC right in Wrigleyville. They had a game watch and a pregame party. And nice. And I was over there. I was explaining to everybody like what we're doing with Son Ranto Show and the Bleacher Bunch and teaming up with these other podcasts because Brett and Michael now have a podcast of their own, the Bleacher Nation podcast. And I was like, you guys already have a network going called the Bleacher Nation Network. So you just put a podcast on that and there you go. There's your podcast. And I'm like, for us, like there's so many of us, we decided to team up and do something together. And he's like, that is a great idea. That is really what it should be because they understand it's a saturated market. That's where this whole Bleacher Bunch thing comes in. So I hope you guys support all the shows on Bleacher Bunch by becoming Patreon supporters at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch, where you can join 105 other incredible people who could win the Patreon prize of the month this month.
Yeah. And let me remind everybody, there are so many shows. So, you don't necessarily have to listen to them all, but what would be great is if you aren't going to listen to a particular show, put your phone on silent, hit play, let it run through just so that we at least get to listen. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how all that works with how they track the listens, but we want as many listens as possible. So,
and all the shows are great, so you should listen to them.
And there will be a baseball rabbit hole, a new baseball rabbit hole coming out this week on the regular feed. If you are a Patreon supporter, then I'm not talking to you about fast forwarding. Like I have Patreon feed, so I have the no commercials. I also have the regular Bleacher Bunch feed. Those are the ones I just let run through. because I've listened to it without the commercials.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, Baseball Rabbit Hole has been out for over a week now. If you're a Patreon member, I'm going to post that with all the different commercials and stuff in it this week, probably like on maybe a Wednesday or something. So,
and commercials suck. So fuck commercials. Don't listen to them. Become a Patreon supporter. It is $1. I think you guys can afford $1, especially in inflationary times. Like that is that's the old quarter. Basically, you're like, hey buddy, could you spare a quarter? Like that's now, hey buddy, could you spare $1? And that's what we're asking. Anyway, one of you Patreon supporters could win a matte camera permanent painting in the Etsy store. It is the Ron Santo. Neither one of us actually even have up. I have it just in a drawer. And then
Santo. I do have a Kyle Schwarber that I love, and I just didn't have a frame when I put my wall together, and now I've got to find a place for it on my wall.
Well, I think you can get rid of the Bears thing because they suck. and then sure. Also you get a t-shirt from In the Clutch Shirts. So they're one of our sponsors, along with our super duper ranters like Rogue Wave Creative and Blake Beard. They're at a super duper level. But in a second, I think Sean guessed he was having trouble joining the other night. This is Sean from it's called That London Cubs Fan on Twitter. He's part of the Bat Flips and Nerds podcast, which is an London-based, I guess, England-based baseball show. And he's a pretty niche audience out there. It's not the most popular sport, obviously. And anyway, he's trying to come on, I think. He tried to the other night and he couldn't figure out the StreamYard from his phone and the internet where he is and da-da-da. But hopefully he'll be by in a little bit. But he spent the entire week here at Wrigley Field, just like he did last spring. And I kind of wanted to ask him, we were talking about it in the stands, so I'll just kind of start here, is we're talking about the differences between last April watching this Cubs team when he was here and this April, and the difference of vibes in the stands and the difference of the team itself, and kind of how he was looking at it. And he's like, it was a palpable change over the course of a year.
That's
the vibes.
That's pretty interesting too, because last April was a great April. You know what I mean? Like April was good last year, even though the rest of the season, like maybe people forget that the rest of the season overshadowed how good that April was. This April, obviously better, but I think there is definitely more of a feeling that this team is stronger than that one.
Yeah, and it was kind of tough to see at the beginning of this week because you take 2 or 3 from the Marlins. You're like, oh, you eat the meatloaf, yay, fish meatloaf. But then you're like, okay, what did you really do? You had a 5-run fifth on my birthday, May 12th, on Monday, and that was all they scored in that game. They had the big rally, and that was it. And they won. Was it 5-2 or something? Then the next game,
and I think that was fueled by a lot of Marlins errors in that inning. Like that wasn't even. I feel like I talked about that one. That wasn't even like, oh, the Cubs just dominated this inning. The Marlins just started tossing the ball everywhere, couldn't catch it, just doing stupid stuff. And the Cubs were able to capitalize on that, which absolutely you want to have happen. We've seen it not happen a lot, but you're right. Sometimes things aren't quite as good as we.
Well, yeah, you look at the W and you're like, all right, we're awesome. But you're like, no, we're not. That's where the Ranto show comes in. It's like, we'll tell you why a 4-in-1 week is not as good as you think so far. No, I'm kidding. They won the next one on a walk-off, which was exciting as hell. And then
that was a Justin Turner walk-off, which nobody had that on their bingo card at that moment.
And it took all 9 innings to beat a stupid team like the Marlins, who are terrible. And then the next game you lose, and you come out and the bats don't hit, and you should not lose any games to the Marlins. I know it's baseball; you're going to lose some of those games, but still, it's like just freaking step on their neck, kill the Marlins, sweep them out of town. That's what awesome teams do. They don't let them win one, and I'm worried about today because we've kicked that shit out of the White Sox for 2 straight games. Friday, Saturday, there's popes crying in their hats in the stands, And then, today is Sunday and you got Colin Ray on the mound. Are the bats going to show up, or is Colin Ray going to have to pitch a freaking no-hitter in order to maybe win this game in 12 innings?
Yeah, I think I saw a stat, and I think I saw a stat earlier this week. Cubs are, I think, 7-0. Maybe they're 8-0 now in series openers, which is the best that they've ever done in their history. The most to start a season like that. But I feel like they're 1-6 in series enders. So it's like, yeah, they're coming out, jumping on top. That's great, but let's play all the way through. Let's play all, I guess 27 innings against a team versus, get 18 and then take a day off. And that's really the concern of that Marlins series, like what you were saying. Yeah, you don't want to be too pessimistic that, yeah, we lost the game, whatever. It's how the Cubs lose these games. It's not necessarily the players losing it.
They did lose it.
I mean, yes, but it's a lot of the decisions that go into those late games. Like, well, we won 2, and then there's, it feels like there's a mentality of we can coast through the last game, or we can put out a getaway day lineup or something. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like, how am I trying to say this? The Cubs team, I thought last year was actually pretty good, but they were hampered all season long by bad management decisions. And this year, that hasn't been as bad. The team is actually better, so they're able to play through some of it. But the specter of some of those bad management decisions is right there. And when you have been watching and paying attention as long as we have, it's hard to let some of that past go and are we doing the same thing this year? Are they going to just not give up, but ease out of every series the way that it seems like they're doing?
Well, that's what it seems like. And I know it just could be random, but we search for these patterns. But let's Sean is here. Sean Guest from
All right, let's ask him what he thinks about Sunday Cubs baseball.
Yeah. Good morning, Sean.
Wow, what a start. Sunday Cubs baseball. Is there anything worse?
Yeah, Wednesday Cubs baseball, which is pretty much the same shit. It's just the third game of any series. It's been a problem this year, and we find these patterns. Sometimes they matter, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the team, they don't even realize that it's happening. They're like, what? We lose on Sundays? We didn't even realize. I didn't even know it was Sunday.
Well, and sometimes fans, we blow it out of proportion. I remember back when we thought Hayward hit into a double play every time he went up to bat, and then we looked and it was like he did it 7 times over the season. We're like, how is it possible he only did 7 times?
And Rizzo did it more or something. Nobody ever was mad about that. Yeah. So, Sean, how's your time in Chicago been? So far, you've been here about a week?
I've been here since Friday week. So yeah, getting on for 10 days now.
Sweet. And how many? You've caught pretty much every game at Wrigley since they've been here, and a Dogs game. And I asked you in the stands, but I kind of wanted to hear it from you here. But what do you notice? But you were here a year ago in the spring, and now you're here again at this time a little bit later in the year, and palpable changes that you're feeling with the vibes, the team, the crowd, the whole experience.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more, despite what you guys have been saying for the last 15 minutes, there's a lot more optimism around this year. I definitely
lost to the Marlins, Sean. We lost the game.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That was definitely a low point of the season so far. But no, I feel like, I don't know, it feels like this team is kind of in a place at the moment where it seems to be able to get out of trouble quite frequently, which is something that I don't think I kind of felt with I was here 23, 24, and it definitely didn't feel like those teams were always capable of that. When you're winning games with a Justin Turner walk-off, a guy who's been hitting abysmally so far this year, that kind of proves that to an extent. Obviously, the thing is you can't rely on that over the course of a season, and I think we all know what the shortcomings of this team are, and they will get exposed. And I mean, they have been exposed at times as well. You're right. The offense was terrible the other night against the Marlins, who, I mean, it wasn't even one of their best pitchers going either. So, yeah, that I think they will have games like that. But yeah, for me, as long as, guys keep stepping up, when maybe say Kyle Tucker isn't hitting as well as he could be, as he has been recently, then I think they'll be fine. The only concern in the division right now is the Cardinals, and they're on a really hot streak, which isn't going to last. So
a game back.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Oh God, the Cardinals drive me freaking nuts. Every year, even when they're bad, they are somehow right there. Freaking hate it.
Well, I feel like you brought us some weather from over the pond, because it was foggy as hell that night that they didn't hit. I mean, this doesn't even do it justice. Yeah, Terry E says Chicago fog versus London fog. Yeah, what do you think? Who's got the better fog?
That was pretty good fog. We do have some mean fog in London, but I've never been to a fog game at Wrigley, and it was just a really surreal day because it was just like that for most of the day, and then obviously it just really settled in during that game. It was cool to experience, but probably not great if you're playing in it.
I would say most people have not been to a game like that. It's really rare for a fog like that to roll in.
There was a game, I believe, during the Washington Nationals NLDS in 2017 that got super foggy as well. But I've been to games that were even foggier than that, the crowd was just guessing as to where that ball's going to come down after it was going to hit in the air. And the players, I remember being interviewed afterwards, be like, no, we can kind of see it. I'm like, we're in the same ballpark. Like, how can you see it? It's the lighting or the sky or something, like the perspective, but it's weird.
Yeah, I think it's the different angles, maybe.
Gotta be. Yeah, no, that was pretty crazy, but the bats died, and the Marlins didn't score a lot either. They just beat us. So you were there during the wave, like was that Tuesday night. The wave got started in the bleachers and went all the way around Wrigley a few times. I've got some video of it, and I'll just share a little bit. We tried to shut it down in the left field bleachers, but it was impossible. We really failed.
Oh my God. It's the first successful wave at Wrigley.
Bleachers. I hear the entire bleachers, and that's kind of what surprised me is that even the bleachers, who kind of are full of a lot of old timers, they still participated. And now you're coming from London. You kind of came to baseball and the Cubs later in your life. You weren't as a child. And I want to ask you about that too, like your kind of origin story with all this. But did you know about the no wave at Wrigley rule before?
I did, yeah. I have I'm actually looking at my Bleacher Rules shirt right now, so I'm very familiar with the rules. But going to a lot of soccer games, the wave is pretty common in soccer stadiums. It's usually a sign that the game isn't up to much, which is I guess why people do it, because they're so bored that they start doing other things. So never a good sign. But yeah, that one was just out of control the other night. What did it do? Like 3 or 4 laps of the ballpark?
It's the most I've ever seen at Wrigley.
I feel as if this is sort of the byproduct of all the fans that sort of popped in 2016, right? They were kids. They learned that the Cubs were actually good for a few years, and then it dropped off. And now they're old enough to go, and they don't get why, like what that is about not doing the wave. Like they just don't understand it, and so they're just going for it, and it's super annoying.
Well, it's
like you say, like you were like, oh, there's a lot of old timers in the bleachers.
Not enough, but
not so much anymore. It's super expensive.
Yeah. And I'll add this to it. What I've noticed is that Wrigley has really become kind of a rich kid, sort of yuppie trust fund kid. My dad's a lawyer. meme guys like walking around, and you see a lot of that, and it's very Instagrammable and a place to be, and the bleachers especially. And it's not that I don't think that they know the bleacher no wave at Wrigley rule. I don't think they care. They're there for a completely different reason, and I think it has nothing to do with the baseball. Like, they're not even there to watch the game that much as it is to spend $100 of daddy's money on some freaking beer. As you know, you
make a cup snake.
Make a cup snake, take some pictures, get on Instagram, and that's fine. That's what it is. I mean, but that is what the White Sox have been. Their fans have been yelling about Cub fans for the longest time, and I can't say that they're wrong anymore, or that they ever were wrong. A lot of biggest bar in Wrigley, biggest bar in Chicago, they would say, and they're right. We do act like that, and now we do the wave, apparently.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, it's a different sort of clientele there now. The Ricketts have fully gotten there with just are we the third highest or second highest experience in all of baseball?
And it's a bunch of little Tommy Ricketts sitting in there, bunch of little trust fund boys, because that's why he loved. Oh, I met my wife in the bleachers. Oh, I bet you did, because you were out there and spending your daddy's money back in the day as you went to school at where'd he go? Northwestern, University of Chicago. I forget what, DePaul. I don't know, one of them, because all those cocksuckers are in there now. And here's the one thing, though, I say to old timers, because they really hate it. Bleacher Jeff was shutting it down. We had Crawley the other night. He came the next night, and he was prepared. He had his no wave shirt on. He was ready to beat somebody in the face with his fists. He was ready to go. But I make this case to the old timers. If people didn't try to start the wave, then there is nothing to react to, and you can't have the personality of somebody against the wave. So you need the wave in order to be against it. If nobody ever did the wave and respected the rules, there's nowhere you could assert your old school fandness unless youngsters did try to start it.
Nobody knows that we're anti-fascist unless we have fascists, Danny. That's what you're saying. And I mean,
yeah,
maybe I'm okay with just not having the wave.
Yeah. So what else? Oh, your origin story. So how were you a baseball fan first, or did you come to it through the Cubs?
So I was actually kind of more into basketball as a kid. In the UK, NFL is absolutely huge. Obviously, you're probably aware that the UK hosts about 3 games a season, and that's been going on for a really long time. But when I was growing up as well, because of Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal and that kind of explosion in the NBA, I kind of got into that, and then they started showing baseball on Channel 5. We used to have 5 channels in the UK. That was it, 5 terrestrial channels. There was a new channel introduced, and they started covering baseball for some reason. And I kind of started watching it. I didn't really have an affiliation though. And then my brother, who Danny, you met last year because we both came out together. He did a tour of the US, came to Chicago, went to a White Sox game, declared himself a White Sox fan, and I just thought it would be fun to start following the Cubs. And it started off as kind of like a really casual thing, just for the sake of having like a sibling rivalry. And then as the Cubs started getting better and better, because this was around about 2009, with the takeover and everything happening, I just got into it more and more and more. And then it became a deep-seated obsession that sort of resulted in me coming out here twice a year to basically cram in as many Cubs games as I can.
Yeah.
Do you do any kind of bet with your brother on the Cubs Sox series?
I mean, it's kind of pointless right now, isn't it? It's
even better reason if he'll take the bet.
Is your brother still a White Sox fan?
He is still, yeah. Credit to him.
You had a lot of success, but he hasn't had that in that time.
No, exactly. So he was out here in 2009, so missed the World Series. I guess that the franchise was kind of riding the coattails of that at the time. I guess it was a complete fluke though that he happened to go to a White Sox game and not a Cubs game. So I could have ended up being a White Sox fan on that basis. But yeah, he is to his credit, he has, you know, continued to follow them all this time. And yeah, we actually got to come out together last year, and we went to 3 White Sox games. We saw them play the Twins, and then we went to Wrigley to watch the Cubs play the Brewers together. So that was a really cool experience because we'd never actually done that before. But yeah, we watch a lot of games together. We kind of banter together on text and stuff. But yeah, he's a very dedicated White Sox fan, which still astounds me to this day.
That's great because I'll bet when you came with him to Chicago, you went to all 3 of those White Sox games for less than it cost you to go to that one Cubs game, didn't you?
100%. Yeah, it was next to nothing. And actually, yeah, we sat pretty much behind home plate on a Monday evening for Sox Twins, and it cost us about, I don't know, $40 or something. We were actually sitting a couple of rows in front of Carlos Correa's family. That it was that good a spot. They'd put his family right there. So yeah, it was about $40. So yeah, I mean, it's chalk and cheese, the experience. Obviously Wrigley is a significantly better ballpark, but I don't actually dislike what's now known as Rate Field. I think it's kind of a cool place. You get the fireworks, which is obviously something you don't get at Wrigley. Not very often anymore because there are fewer and fewer home runs there. But I tell you what, the concessions are so much better down there than they are, and they're so much more affordable as well. You've got a lot better range, and the food is a lot cheaper too, which is a huge bonus for me because I really hate paying like $15 for a hot dog.
Yeah, and the payroll shows it. The Sox payroll, the $5 beers means $5 second baseman. That's kind of what that means. But I can't say that Ricketts is spending all the $18 beer money on the team because we still don't have a third baseman. In fact, I want to bring up some stats just real quick, and I want you to guess. If I don't know if you could see your screen as that well, but what position is this? Here's the slash line for a position. For the podcast listeners, it's 175, 266, 214 for a 480 OPS. What position is that on the Chicago Cubs?
Am I guessing here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's got to be third base, hasn't it?
Yeah. Michael, do you have any other guess here?
I think it's the DH.
Good guess, but it's not. It is third base.
Okay.
Now what position is this? Slashing 290, 368, 556 for a 924 OPS.
Center field.
Yeah, that's actually I'm going catcher on that one.
It is the catcher.
Yeah, baby. The catcher has been great this year.
And add Moises Ballesteros, although he hasn't caught yet, or unless they gave him an inning that I missed when I was taking a nap in a chair or something. But
not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
he got pulled for Justin Turner.
God, yeah. I know. I was gonna bring that up, but I wanted to have a nice show. That's why I didn't put it in the notes.
Yeah, it was Venable and Council had a little chess match out there. They're like, "Oh, I got a lefty pitcher, so I'm going to pull my lefty rookie out and put in Turner. Oh, you're going to do that? Well, I'm going to put in a righty against Turner." And
I guess they didn't realize it was 7-3 at the time, But whatever.
Yeah, and people have other things to do on a Saturday. Just like move on with the game, guys.
Well, let's talk about these games because you were at them. I mean, only one loss that you've witnessed, which was the anemic game. You saw a couple debuts. You saw Moises Ballesteros in his debut. That's pretty. They're calling him Mo Baller. I don't foresee myself doing that. It's just like feels a little flippant to me. And I liked it. I like saying Ballesteros. Like it's more fun to say than Baller.
Okay, Danny, I have to ask you this because I did Cubs pod. And I got a little hung up. Like, yes, it's Spanish. So you would say Ballesteros. But I have heard Ballesteros, like people are pronouncing the L
wrong.
Like, and I'm not seeing enough of or I'm not hearing enough of Pat calling the game to know what the proper pronunciation would be. So what has Pat been saying so that I know what to do?
I don't know because I was listening to Miguel and he says Ballesteros. So
Okay, well, look,
you know.
Miguel is going to be the official Ballesteros. I'm going to go with that because but it's like that whole Mo Baller thing, and I was getting confused because it's like I feel like people are saying Ballesteros.
Yeah, well,
getting the follow and
incorrect. Well, here's the thing: he hasn't come out like gangbusters unless you consider like the Kool-Aid Man gangbusters, because he's kind of who he reminds me of.
He's hitting 100 right now.
I mean, he hits the ball. He's got great bat to ball skills, but he's rolling over on most of them. He was able to get a single, was able to get on base with some fielder's choices. He was involved in that walk-off, although they had to pinch run for him because he's freaking fat as hell. I mean, he is. I'm sorry. Like,
it's crazy. It's been a long time since we've had a big guy on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
prior to him, Assad was the biggest dude on the team, and now we got this big dude. I kind of want to see him catching. I want to see what he looks like behind the plate. I'm all in for the big boys rumbling around the bases. I'm in for it.
Yeah, besides Assad, who else did we have that was Tuffy Rhodes was pretty fat. I'm like taking it way back. I'm like,
oh god, that's way back. I mean, yeah, we haven't had a ton. I mean, Big Z was Big Z for a reason.
Yeah,
kind of had a punch. We had Fernando Rodney. We had a bunch of relievers.
Oh yeah, remember Jumbo Diaz from the Reds? That guy was freaking jumbo. And I don't think that was his God-given name, by the way. I think that was a well-earned nickname from every time he hit the buffet on the road.
Yeah, let's not forget Daniel Vogelbach was a Cub as well.
Oh, Dan Vogelbach.
Vogelbach, definitely. Yep.
Briefly. But
he literally could have been played by Chris Farley in a movie. They look the same. Yeah, I do enjoy your having a fat guy on the team. Like Prince Fielder was fat, never a Cub, but these are dudes that you just wonder, you got to run in this game. It's part of the game,
right? And it's always amazing at how fast they actually are. A lot of times, you see him and you're just like, oh, there's no way that dude's getting down the baseline, and then he goes and you're like, oh, I can't beat that guy in a race.
Who's
he
the
is
dude?
A professional athlete, and I am not, even though he looks like he weighs 100 pounds more than me.
Who's the dude on the Giants that played third base? Big Panda.
Big Panda, yeah. I can't
Anyway,
remember his real name because
this is a good off-season topic. Like we'll have the all-star fat team.
Frank Thomas, the big hurt, like he was just a giant human being. Like
I would never consider him fat though. Like
he was right. He wasn't necessarily fat. Same way that Assad, I don't think is fat either. Like they're just rounder than a lot of the players we see these days.
Back
husky, I think is the term, right?
Yes, husky. Perfect.
Back in the 20s, they probably would have called them fats. Like you could find the fattest, greatest players because they're all named fats in baseball reference before 1940. Because they did if you were missing an ear, they just called you listen-y or something like that.
Right.
If you were toothless, they called you Smiley or something like that. Just always ripping on your deformities. Bartolo Colon as the ace. So you saw Fat Moises Ballesteros debut. You saw Skinny Cade Horton's debut, and that didn't go great. I mean, gave up a couple dogs to Miguel Vargas on Friday.
Where were you sitting for that, Sean?
I was in left field bleachers for that.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Horton. I think it was good that he was going against the White Sox. But what I do like about him is that, he obviously gave up runs in the first inning and then just settled down. And I think he's shown in his two outings so far that, he's capable of just being out there and kind of working through trouble, which is something that, not all pitchers can do. I think seeing him do that this early in his career is really impressive. And the other day, I mean, he only really had the fastball and the slider going. There wasn't really anything else. He tried the curveball a few times and it fell really short. No one was really biting on it. So I think, to sort of navigate those two starts, New York obviously was really tough. And the other day when he got hit early, I think the signs are really promising for him.
Yeah, I 100% agree that the most impressive thing I saw out of him was how unflappable he is, because in his 2 appearances, he has had some things go wrong for him on the defense as well.
Yeah.
And he just seemed like, yes, the pitches are not 100% there yet, but he's very young. He has very limited experience, even in college. So those are going to come along. You have to expect that those are going to come along, but it's what's going on in the ear, between the ears, that it can kind of be trained, but it can't really be trained. I mean, you got to have it, and he seems to really have it. I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing him come along, but I sort of feel right now his pitches are not quite MLB ready.
Yeah, and he's forced up because of the injury to Imanaga and Steele. And so you kind of need him. That's A. But B, it's nice to see him getting his feet wet at this point, because if you waited to get his feet wet and go through some of these growing pains and figure out what pitches are working and what isn't working and how to attack major league hitters and be in a giant stadium with 40,000 screaming crazy Cub fans doing the wave. If you need to have that experience now, because if the Cubs are down the stretch, like fighting against the Cardinals for, getting into the playoffs or whatever, you might need Cade Horton then. You likely will. And so at that point, do you want that to be his first or second game? No, it's nice that it's happening now. So I'm glad he's getting this experience. And
back in the day, right? Old timers know guys didn't often come up as starters immediately. They would come up and they would spend a year coming out of the bullpen doing some of that, and then they would work into their starting roles a lot of times. I mean, obviously there's starters who just came up and started, but a lot of these guys would work into it. That doesn't seem to happen quite as much anymore. But Danny, what you're talking about in the playoffs, you need that bullpen. It has to be strong. So if he can come in and give you 1 inning, right? Give you an.
I think you need more than that. Yeah, I mean, I think you want more than that. I think you might be really counting on Cade Horton, because you don't have Steele. Steele is gone. If they don't replace Steele, well, who did they pick up? Freaking Kenta Maeda. Oh my God! What year is this? What year is it? I feel like, Sean, it's 2007. I'm just becoming a Cubs fan, and Kenta Maeda's out there. Let's get Kenta Maeda. That's probably the last time Kenta Maeda was good. No, I'm kidding.
He and Justin Turner are buddies, so they just wanted to hang out a little bit.
So what else happened in these? Well, we finally, the bats did come alive against the White Sox, which was nice to see, because they have pretty decent pitching. They stole a bunch of bases yesterday, which some record. They always got some record that they're breaking, because they can look up all this stuff, and it's always the first time this ever happened. It's some caveat, on a Saturday that they hit 4 home runs and stole 6 bases, and the White Sox pitcher wore his pants 2 inches below his knee or something like that. It's always got some caveat, but they look good. Couple of weird plays though that I want to kind of get your guys' take on. There was the Nico Horner obstruction of the base play at second base, and then right after that, there was a play in which the White Sox were called out for sliding into Dansby Swanson trying to break up a double play. Now, to my eyes, this all looks like good, clean baseball. And then the umpires are like, "Oh, you can't stand there." And "No, you can't do that." I don't know. You were at the stadium, Sean. So was that one of those situations where everybody's looking around and be like, "What happened? What do you do?"
Yeah, it was slightly baffling. I think with the the Nico Horner obstruction play, I think the runner may have been safe anyway. I think the White Sox probably would have reviewed that. It looked like the tag was maybe slightly late from where I was sitting. But yeah, I think, it's one of those situations that needs almost like an umpire explanation, because you're just sitting there guessing as to what's actually being called. You obviously the outcome, but you don't really know why. So both of those plays were a bit confusing.
Yeah. It was annoying.
Michael hates that shit.
Oh my God. And
play.
Bill and I were going back and forth a little bit in the Discord server. So Sean, you were correct. The runner was safe. The runner was safe. If they had reviewed it, he got his hand in there. And this is what makes me so angry. They didn't review it. They just called obstruction. Excuse me, how can it be obstruction when the runner was safe? Those two things do not exist in the same reality. You have either obstructed somebody from getting to the base, or you didn't because they were able to get to the base. Give me a freaking break. You cannot have that call. That is just stupid.
It reminds me of Trump's tariffs. Like, they're going to bring jobs back to America, but they're also going to be such high tariffs on other countries that we're going to raise all this revenue because the goods are actually still coming from overseas. You can't have both things. You can't collect a tariff and bring jobs back to America where there's no tariff. Like, those two things do not exist at the same time. Impossible.
Yeah.
And then one or the other.
The next inning, I totally think that the Dansby call was a makeup. I think that was a makeup call for what happened in the inning before, which again didn't matter because he would have been safe. But the double play that Dansby tried to make, look, that runner
is in the way,
slid directly into the base. He was straight on.
Well,
no, he was. If you look
his
at that,
leg is, but his freaking body is kind of like.
Well, he was on the backside of the plate. There's nothing wrong with where he was. Like, and he was sliding straight, and he was not trying to. In no way did he ever try to make contact with Dansby Swanson. Dansby had bad footwork. That's all it is. He stepped on the bag and just moved a little late, and dude's foot hit his foot and he fell down. Like, it was literally just baseball. And if you go back and look at it and you see that the runner was somehow attempting, yes, Yumper, Dansby flopped. Terry E, same thing. Dansby did LeBron that a bit. Yeah, exactly. He went down, and it was just ridiculous. Like, and that's the thing. Like,
it's confusing too when you're there.
That went in the Cubs' direction, but I still hate it because it shouldn't have, and it just felt like a makeup call. And that's another thing that sucks. It's like, just have the conviction of your call in the freaking first place. If you don't, then swallow the whistle.
Do you know what I also didn't like the conviction of is the Cubs blue jerseys on Friday, which is fine. Like, the Expos jerseys, they look like the Expos. They look wonderful. I like the Expos jerseys. Cubs look great as Expos. But they decided all weekend long to wear these white armed services hats as well that do not match with either one of the jerseys that they're wearing otherwise, because they're like, aren't they like slightly like beigey camo or something like that? And I asked you, Sean, I'm like, in London or in England, do they do these like military loyalty oath things all the time where they're got a soldier on the field waving and wearing different hats? You said no, that this doesn't really exist as much, if at all.
No, I guess it might happen very occasionally, but no, it's certainly not done anywhere near to the extent, and you know, there are no kind of uniforms that, you know, pay homage to military people or anything like that. It's definitely a sort of unusual feature of the game to a Brit who's watching it, because we don't really do anything of that nature in the UK.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. And we didn't used to do this. This came after 9/11. This is all new millennium stuff. Like back in the 80s and 90s, you didn't see this at all. And then all of a sudden with 9/11, like, we went crazy and everybody started doing this. The other thing that really bugs me about those hats is they're too light. I feel like, again, a pitcher shouldn't be wearing a hat,
a white hat,
because there are rules against that. You remember, it's been many years now, 10 years ago or something, when they had the white and black all-star game, and they wouldn't allow the pitchers to wear the white hats. They had to wear their regular uniform hats because the white hat is a distraction to the batter. Well, these hats are not very colorful. Like, I could still see that being.
I'll put up a picture.
Concern. Yeah,
it's
that
camouflage, and then there's the green bill. Are they wearing the one with the green bill? I don't kind of remember them. Is this a different one? But the top is the correct color. It's like pretty light beige. And I like what Joey W says. Please don't cancel me. I support our military, but those hats are ugly.
Joey, I'm a veteran and I hate all of it. Like, it drives me a freaking crazy to see this stuff, because again, I served when that wasn't a thing. And it drives, like, and now it's like all of a sudden.
Well, it's not.
Well, we always joke, Danny, that I'm going to get on the big board at Wrigley. It's like, woo! I went snowboarding for 4 years in Washington.
Exactly. No, sometimes, like, they got the military honor and they're like, oh, they served at Great Lakes Naval Academy for 6 years. And I'm like, well, that seems kind of easy. Like, why am I, like, I want to see a WW2 veteran who, like, freed a concentration camp or something. Like, that guy I'll cheer for. Somebody that was drafted to Nam, like, now I'm cheering, like, it wasn't that guy's fault. He had to go over there and fight in an unjust war. But it's like, Little Yumper says, speaking of hats, that is a sweet one, Cotton. I wouldn't wear it, but it's nice. I mean,
you always love it when somebody tells you, nice hat. Looks good on you. Like,
well, but the other thing about it is they put you in this position where if you don't support any of this, like, kind of jingoism, that you are now anti-military. You just hate America. And you're like, no, I love America. I just don't like false gestures of patriotism, like, shoved in my face all fucking day, because this is America and I should, like, just be able to enjoy a goddamn ball game instead of
that's exactly what Joey was referencing. He's like, don't hate me for this, but those hats are ugly. Like, why would you say that? Except for the fact that they're, like, because of what that hat is somehow representing, it's like now you have to, like, couch your disagreement with an ugly hat. If it's ugly, it's ugly. Like, don't worry about it.
People, by the way, I just want to bring up hashtag Chance in the chat. Jerry's here saying it. Hashtag Chance. You could win when he Frank Chance.
Free bowl of soup when you bought that hat. Oh, that is an excellent. That's a Caddyshack reference.
Yeah, and then they put the bowl on his head and cut his hair. So, Sean, what else is going on? Like, I'm going to see you today in the bleachers. We'll be out there soon. In fact, we got to probably move on with this show and get you where you need to go. Have some breakfast so you're not eating $15 hot dogs at the stadium when you get hungry. But how long are you here for? Where can people follow you? Like, talk about a little bit about Bat Flips and Nerds and your involvement with that podcast.
Yeah, so today's actually my last day, so I'm going to be hanging out with you at the bleachers today, hopefully watching the Cubs sweep the White Sox, and then I'm flying back to London this evening.
Tonight.
But yeah, tonight, yeah. night flight, so doing the red eye back home tomorrow morning. So yeah, sad times. But yeah, you're right. I'm involved in the only baseball podcast and website in the UK. It's called Bat Flips and Nerds. We cover all baseball teams. The podcast is sort of happens every couple of weeks. There are a bunch of guys who are kind of experts on their respective teams, putting up articles regularly. So yeah, it's really cool to be involved in that. Bunch of UK fans, we meet up regularly as well, every kind of couple of months, go hang out, watch a ball game. So yeah, if anyone ever comes to the UK and fancies watching baseball, just let me know.
Is it hard to find the games? Like, do you have a like when you say you meet up to watch the games, where are you watching them at?
So there's actually a chain of Philly bars in London. It's called Passyunk Avenue or Passyunk, depending on how you pronounce it.
Passyunk. Yeah. No, yeah.
There are about 4 of them in London, and yeah, they basically have an MLB TV subscription, so they'll kind of put on whatever you want. You know, it's sort of dive bar style, so there are screens up around, and yeah, you can basically request they show a game. So me and a bunch of friends, we go quite regularly, watch the Cubs play there. But you can just sort of go and hang out and watch whatever's showing. So yeah, it's kind of cool to have that, because prior to them launching in about, I think, 2018, 2019, something like that, there wasn't really anywhere that you could go and watch baseball. You could obviously stream it at home, but there weren't many bars in London that actually showed it. So it's cool now that there is sort of like a place to go and hang out and watch baseball. You know, bunch of Americans, bunch of Brits, whoever's in town, really. And it's a really fun vibe.
I would imagine it's mostly day games you're able to catch too, because if the game starts at 7, it's already 2 a.m. there, you know, unless you're at some after hours bar. Yeah,
they do show some of the later ones, but yeah, I mean, obviously that's one of the advantages of being a Cubs fan. Those 7:20 starts, as we say in the UK, because it's 6-hour time difference.
Oh, it's 7:20 somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the alternative phrase. Yeah,
that's awesome. Now, okay, so you follow baseball, obviously. Do you also follow cricket? Like, was cricket a thing in your life prior to baseball, or are they just different enough that you're not into it?
I played and watched it as a kid. I don't really follow it anymore, but quite a lot of the people that I do know in the UK who like baseball have kind of come to it through cricket because of the similarities in the sport. And actually in the UK, they're kind of constantly pushing the parallels, I think, to try and get more cricket fans involved. The BBC have started kind of showing games occasionally, and they have this guy called Felix White, who's a cricket podcaster, go on the commentary and sort of he regularly kind of talks about the similarities and stuff. So I think it's an angle that MLB is trying to sort of work in the UK to get more people involved in the game. I'm not sure how successful that is, because I think, yeah, a lot of people kind of come to it through other means. But I guess, yeah, if you're going to sort of target a sport and a fan base to try and draw in, then cricket is definitely the one that offers the most similarities.
Yeah, I went there a couple of years ago and stopped by Lord's grounds, and it was an off day or whatever, and got to walk around and check it out. But the people there were really into baseball, and you know, and I had they asked me, like, and I told them that I do a podcast and I'm into the Cubs and stuff, and so they were really sort of excited about that sort of connection as well. It seemed like, so yeah.
Yeah,
it is working. It is working, and I think more people are getting into baseball in the UK. It's growing slowly, but I think the London series has really helped. Obviously, the Cubs were there a couple of years ago. We had the Mets and Phillies last year. I think a lot of kind of casual fans have been going along to those games and sort of getting into it. It is a little bit frustrating because the tickets are quite expensive. You know, certainly comparatively, when you sort of take a seat on a kind of Tuesday night at Wrigley versus what it would cost to go to one of those games on like a Saturday. We're talking like a significant difference, even though Wrigley isn't the cheapest. which doesn't help necessarily. But the crowds across those 3 games have increased every time, so more and more people are getting into it. Baseball is really big in Europe, which kind of helps, I think. But yeah, it is slowly growing, I think, which is a really good thing.
Yeah, I think the Netherlands are big in baseball, right? Like they have good teams.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, maybe if you guys would buy your guys better uniforms, it would go a little bit better for you. Because like in the World Baseball Classic, he had these Great Britain uniforms that really, left a lot to be desired. I'm surprised Nike even put their swoosh on it. They were so embarrassing.
The hats were good though, right? The hats were good.
Yeah, not bad. The GB. Like kind of interlock. Well, not really interlocking, but it's pretty classic baseball style. But
you know what? I honestly don't hate the uniform.
Looks like Red Sox.
Personally, I just would have made Great Britain a bit larger.
A little larger, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you see the version where someone replaced the tea with a cup of tea, which I think was? Did you have that version?
There you go.
That's the one they should have gone for. That would have been really good. Yeah.
that would have been amazing.
Maybe that should be the mascot on the hat too. There's a steaming cup of tea.
Yeah.
The old queen giving a wave or something. Well, thanks for being here, dude. And it's exciting it's been a pleasure like hanging out with you in the bleachers and everything. I'm excited to do it again today. And hope you have a great trip back, or a non-eventful trip back, a restful trip back, and sleep on the plane and all that stuff. And but it's just so cool. I love that the Cubs have this kind of worldwide reach a lot because they are a national team that Yankees, Dodgers, like these are, and the Cubs seem to have this kind of same appeal. And so it's great as a Cubs fan getting to meet people from all over the world because of it. So
that being said, thanks. I'm glad the Ricketts did not buy. Weren't they trying to buy Manchester?
Chelsea. Chelsea. It was Chelsea Football Club. Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, there would have been even less money for the payroll, right?
Well, I mean, they told us how they had biblical losses, and I think in the same year they're like, oh, but we're going to offer, I think, like $2 billion for Chelsea.
Yeah, that would have been bad for the Cubs. But no, you're right. I think I've certainly seen more and more people get into the Cubs since the World Series. Obviously, Michael kind of referenced it. They have really taken off, and I think a lot of people who are sort of coming to baseball outside of the UK find the Cubs a lot easier to root for because you have the 1:20 starts. It works across different time zones. I do know a few people who follow West Coast teams, which must be really, really hard. It was hard for me when the Cubs were playing, that sort of mammoth stretch out on the West Coast, because it meant that I went about 2 weeks without really seeing them. I did stay up really late one night until about 3 a.m. to watch them play against the Diamondbacks, but it does make it a lot easier. And I think the really cool thing as well is that when I come over, every Cubs fan I meet is absolutely awesome. They sort of love talking Cubs and hanging out and stuff. And it's just the bleachers are it's just a really inviting place and a really cool place to be. So thanks, Danny. It's been a lot of fun this week.
Hell yeah. You made my birthday all the better. So, and thanks for the ticket. Sean bought me a ticket for Wednesday. Fortunately, we lost that one. So I blame you.
Yeah. I apologize. Yeah. Picked the wrong game.
Exactly. Picked the wrong damn game. Well, thanks for being here. We're going to take a break. We'll let you get on with your day and get out to Wrigley and get your morning going. And we should do the same. We're running long in this one. So big surprise, Ranto show specialty. But we'll come back and we'll just do a little bitch clock and have a couple announcements. Cubstradamus, actually, he's sitting upstairs right now waiting to come down and tell us what's going to happen after we play the Marlins again, if you can freaking believe that. But give me a score prediction for today's game, and I'll go bet it at Ballhawk Dave's Den of Iniquity at Ballhawk Corner.
I'm going to go 8-2 Cubs.
8-2 Cubs. I like it. Yeah, I think we continue to score.
Yeah.
We got to complete the sweep. It's time. It's time to step on a freaking Southside neck. And
it's time to win on a Sunday as well.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. Have we won it on a Sunday yet?
This season?
Maybe once.
Maybe one time, but
I'm gonna
yeah,
look
it's
it up
been
right now before
rough.
we go to commercial.
Somebody in the comments just said
lose. We have
Yumper
not.
says 1-0 White Sox.
We beat the Dodgers on a Sunday 4-2 in LA on April 13th, but that is the only game we have won on a Sunday, and we have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So we're 1-6 on Sundays.
That's
So
terrible.
we got it. So hey, law of averages, right? Let's get back to it. Today's the day. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial. Thanks for being here. Follow Sean at that London Cubs. Is it just that London Cub?
That's my handle. Yeah, the name is That London Cubs Fan.
Yeah, that London Cubs fan is the handle. Follow him on Twitter and follow Bat Flips and Nerds for some British baseball banter.
Yes, I think the official tagline is baseball with a British twist.
There we go.
Okay.
Nice.
So, all right. Well, I love it.
Yeah.
I listen, I subscribe, and thanks for being here. And we'll see you later this afternoon.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
Okay, we'll be
Good meeting.
cool.
I do have a silhouette if we want to.
I forgot about it, and then I was like, oh shit, the silhouette.
Oh, and I figured out the tools have gotten better. So check this one out.
Oh,
All
it's a
right,
nice
so
line. He's a shortstop or a second baseman.
This is so now I can actually pick the different things that I can change out. So this is a baseball card, obviously tops, but it's an action card versus just like the batting. But yeah, somebody's trying to make a double play happen, throwing over the Cardinals, and apparently this is old because right now in the league this would be called obstruction.
Yeah,
or no interference. This
would be
interference.
Yeah, this would be interference because he's like fully making contact, whoever that is, as a Cardinal with his stupid stripy socks. All right, we'll be right back. There's no team I hate more than the Cardinals, except for maybe the White Sox. So, all right, cool. We'll be right back. Why can't I find the commercial? Where the hell is it?
I don't
Did I
know.
erase it? Oh, here it is. Here it is. All right, we'll be right back.
The Bleacher Bunch brings you great shows like Sun Ranto, Cubs PS Plus, Bricks Behind the Ivy, Cuppa Cubby Blue, and Baseball Rabbit Hole. But you could be getting so much more when you subscribe to our Patreon page for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/BleacherBunch. Get access to our exclusive daily show Cubs Pod, where we recap every single game. Plus, be the first to hear Cubs music, get early access to events, and receive an invitation to join our Discord Cubs community, where fans just like you show up every day to rant and rave about our beloved boys in blue. Most importantly, 10% of your Patreon pledge will go directly to help the Lost Boys Youth Baseball program. So join us. There are perks at every level, like the Renter Calendar, absolutely free, and name recognition for you or your business. We are independent Cubs podcasters, and we need your support. Otherwise, we'll quit. Seriously, we'll all quit. Some of us might even die from your lack of support. In fact, the cutest little puppy you've ever seen will die if you don't support the Bleacher Bunch at patreon.com/BleacherBunch. We promise to spend all the Patreon money on tickets and beer and all the dung crap we have to buy just to keep our podcast rolling. So give us your money and we'll waste it far better than you will. Patreon.com/BleacherBunch. Free trials are available, but don't do a free trial. Just join, okay? Okay. Patreon.com/BleacherBunch.
In the clutch, in the clutch. Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Take it from the Bleacher Bunch. You'll love the shirts from In the Clutch.
In the Clutch shirts are comfortable, stylish, and guaranteed to get you laid. Plus, they're proud sponsors of the Bleacher Bunch. Use promo code BleacherBunch for 10% off your purchase.
Nice to feel and soft to touch. That's why you will get laid so much. Wearing a shirt from In the Clutch. And you can thank the Bleacher Bunch. In the Clutch, in the Clutch. Buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Remember the code Bleacher Bunch. Save 10%
In the clutch shirt's actually not really guaranteed to get you laid.
All right,
Nice.
who's that cubby?
All right. Well, we have some interesting answers here in the chat. Terry E says Terry O. Wrong. Jerry Zanutta, Brewers? I don't okay. Nope, not the Brewers. And Andy Wells says Sean. So maybe he's meaning Sean Dunston. Not sure, but Lil Yumper knows where we're at. That is Javi Baez right there on his card. It's a Topps like chrome card or whatever, diving over. And, I had to bring Javi Baez up in this show. I thought Lyle was going to be here. I think he walked off against the Red Sox this week.
Yeah. Oh, man. Javi he's back. I mean, listen,
He's
last
like
year,
310 and
300 right now, 300. But
he has been up
slugging.
to, over 300 for quite a while. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and he's got an 836 OPS, a 135 OPS plus right now, and he's struck out 31 times in 137 plate appearances, which for Javi, that's pretty good.
I think that's around 23%, something like that.
Yeah,
but his power is back. I think he's got 5 or 6 home runs now. The other night he hit one early in the game and then walked it off. And then the next day he hit one in the 8th to put the Tigers in the lead that they held for the rest of the game. And he robbed that home run. You've seen that. He's playing center field now. He just a resurgence in Javi. And look, the game is better when Javi Baez is good. It really is. I love catching all the highlights and stuff of the things that he does. And I get it. Look, we got PCA for Javi. I'm not complaining about PCA. I'm not saying we should have PCA or Javi over PCA, but I never gave up on the guy. He's always been, probably my favorite player. And I'm just glad that the guy we got has at least some of that style that Javi has always had.
Yeah, I mean, just doing magical things defensively. We didn't even talk about it in the first half of PCA, having that 4-for-5 game, hit a home run. The only kind of mental error he made was on that pop-up that kind of got blown back into the infield. That guy, he should have been standing on third base. That was the only thing, or at least second base.
But that's so hard when, the wind is doing what the wind has been doing. He made a pretty good catch yesterday on a ball out to the wall that probably should not have made it that far, but the wind was just carrying it.
Well, yeah, the wind's been crazy, the fog's been crazy, so it's just kind of, and those are
there was a dust storm.
It was a dust storm in Chicago that came
I was
in.
looking this up. I was talking to Emily about it last night, and I told her, yeah, there was a dust storm in Chicago, and she didn't know. So I was looking up pictures. Do you know where that dust storm came from?
Oklahoma, right?
The Saharan Desert.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was blown away. I'm seeing these pictures. That crap came across the Atlantic they were showing and then curled up through Oklahoma. And then, so obviously it's not like it was all the dust, it was picking different things up, but some of that dust that was in that dust storm was from the Saharan Desert.
Wow.
Mind blown. I didn't think that was even possible.
Yeah, well, think about those times when a volcano erupts and blocks out the sun or something like that. That's like kind of a regular occurrence, throughout the history of the world, mass extinctions, summers that never come for 5 years because of a stupid volcano. And I do have a picture of the bleachers that day during that dust storm, and it's really just shocking. It's there she is with her 2 young, hungry children.
She's actually only concerned because Justin Turner got the call She's
Yeah.
watching Justin Turner at bat right there.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, why would you pinch hit late in the game in a blowout?
Yeah.
Does it?
Can't even watch.
So I figured let's get straight to the bitch clock, and I'm going to I figured like we could do a little bit of discussion on some of these topics. And if you have, I didn't really check the Discord this morning, so if you want to just put in the chat right now things you'd like me to add to today's bitch clock, me and Michael will both take a spin. I got too much. So
well, and while Danny's doing that, I'm gonna do. Oh, I thought it was actually going to take you longer there, Danny.
No.
You're getting much better at this after 11 years, 12 years.
Well, yeah, it just took that long. So here's a couple of the topics. No Ranter Fest date. I agree. This is a problem. And I will explain the problem right now to that. Is that freaking seats in the last row of the corner for any of the dates that would be possible, specifically August 2nd, are $80 or more with the fees. And I just like can't justify asking all these people to come and sit in the corner of Wrigley Field behind a pole for $84 to watch the stupid Orioles, so I'm thinking in terms of like maybe doing a game when the Cubs aren't in town. But I'm like, well, who would want to come in for that? And I don't know. We might be a victim of our own success. So what I'm going to try to do is, I don't know, maybe make a date poll, like one of those, what do they call that? A doodle of sorts, where we can figure out a date that would work best for everybody and just kind of see where people's votes are. And because I want to hang out with everybody, that's the more important thing to me than necessarily going to Wrigley, which I get to do all the time. But I also understand that people, if they're going to come all the way to Chicago, would like to go to Wrigley Field,
Right. Well, I mean, here's an idea, and we can kick this around later, but we could have a ball hawk corner Ranter Fest where I mean, if people have
stand
tickets
on the street like hobos.
Yeah, we'll hang out with Ball Hawk Dave on the corner and just enjoy the day out there while the game's going on. And if you have tickets, you can go in or whatever. And if not, you're just hanging on the corner with us.
Well, and I also kind of took
an idea.
And the reason I put this up because people are asking, yesterday's Bleacher Nation event, Michael and Brett didn't go to the game, and neither did Luis. They all hung back at the party, and so I was like, well, maybe people who want to go to the game can just get tickets to the game, and then it's so much easier for them to just pick up their 2, 3, 4, 5 tickets that they need, as opposed to some BS freaking group seat behind a pole in the corner. You know what I mean? Like where we're just packed in. That might be the better move. So, I'd say we still plan on August 2nd. Maybe that should be it. But yeah, Joey likes ball hawk corner with lawn chairs. I think I would be more about that too. And so then you wouldn't be forced to buy these tickets. And if you were forced to spend $80, not forced, but you wanted to spend $80, you could actually sit somewhere better than the freaking corner because there are better seats available for that price, so just not 20 of them together. So that's my explanation for that. But then
I personally think that look, I'm gonna have a good time hanging out with the Ranchers, regardless of whether or not I get into that game. And as we know, with the last year, we sat up at what is it, home plate or home field, almost home for like 10 hours.
Yeah, well, let's hope that doesn't happen. That was supposed to be a night game, and it got delayed a lot. So, here's the next thing on the bitch clock, though. Cubs not getting woo-woo to Wrigley. And I agree. The Cubs, listen, I've been on the horn a lot with Janet, who's been taking care of all this stuff. I have not been out to see Ronnie. He has lost a lot of weight. He's not doing great. And the Cubs have done nothing. 0 things. They do not like Ronnie Woo-woo. If you don't know this already, it's only the fans that like Ronnie Woo-woo. Crane Kenny doesn't like him. Tom Ricketts doesn't like him. Some of the old-timer Cub fans, they, or squawk about him because he's loud and has been there for a long time, and he annoys people. But anyway, that made the boomer bitch clock. So I don't know what kind of like groundswell of activity we can get. The Cubs, I don't think will ever do anything for Ronnie, but that's why it makes the boomer Bills bitch clock today. Third base, black hole for the Cubs, unacceptable. I saw Boomer Bill in here before talking about Julian Merriweather sucking. He's actually sucked very recently. He's had quite a few good outings, but every time he goes out there and has a bad outing, he's giving up at least 2 runs. So,
yeah, it's insanity when he goes bad.
Yeah, so whether or not so Mary made the bitch clock. White Sox Twitter, yeah, they're not happy people. They're not good people. And every time I try to be nice to White Sox fans, they end up making me hate them again. So I give up yet once again trying to be a good person. Except for Little Yumper. I love you because you just want to be a baseball fan. You used to be a Cub fan, and you can't stand Ricketts for their stupid politics. So you went to the White Sox, and now you're stuck with Jerry Reinsdorf, who's even worse than Tom Ricketts. So I don't even know what you're doing, Yumper, but but I support you in all your choices.
I don't know that the Ricketts are worse or Reinsdorf is worse, but I do wish that they would have a fight to the death.
Exactly. And they both died.
Yes.
So Little Yumper says, I am in my own hell. Yes. Self-constructed. And then we have, so White Sox Twitter, apparently there was a Boog shoegasm. I won't listen to the Boog broadcast. I'm done with that. I can't, I've got a Stockholm syndrome when it comes to that stuff.
I've been really frustrated. I've been trying to get the White Sox broadcast, and it just has not. I haven't been able to get a good stream because I do look forward to the Cubs playing the White Sox so that I can listen to Steve Stone again. He is
brings back childhood.
He's part of my childhood nostalgia memories of the Cubs, and so getting to watch him, even though he's calling it for the White Sox and he leans towards the White Sox, it's still great to hear him call a game.
So for all you youngsters out there, Michael was one of those youngsters. He was listening up, being like, what does Steve Stone have to say about me getting to the majors? Remember when he used to always do that? For all you youngsters out there, you never want to scratch your butt on the mound and then smell your finger. Like he'd say things like that. So then what else is on here? Oh, yeah. So the Boog had a shoegasm, I guess. He always does, right? He's back and he's been sick. And like, listen, I don't wish the man ill health, of course, but he's been sick. And to be honest, his sickness is, well, we've had Alex Cohen out there instead, and I found that broadcast to be a lot more palatable.
A lot of people out there hating on Alex Cohen too, though.
Yeah, well, nobody's ever happy, are they?
Never.
No PCA extension. No Kyle Tucker extension. Those are separate bitch clock topics. And then Pete Rose, we have not talked about this, being Hall of Fame eligible posthumously. That's right after he ate some hummus. He is now eligible.
He ate some bad hummus. He died. And then they let him be eligible for the Hall of Fame.
So that's, and if anything added, anything anybody want to add to this? Nothing so far.
No, I think good.
That's plenty of topics. So I got, now this is where the push comes to shove, because I've got to be able to present my my video here. Now this is where it gets weird, Michael. This is where you criticize what I do with my bitch clock skills, and rightfully so, because it's true, I haven't figured it out. For example,
bitch clock, you have.
I already played that too early, so obviously failed already. So, but I knew that was going to happen, and that's where we're getting like some skills here, where I knew that I was going to have to yank that off the screen as soon as I put it up.
See, and Danny, a couple years ago, Jamison Tylen, that was my argument. As long as you know what the problems are going to be, you can plan for it.
You can plan for it. So now I'm going to spin this wheel, and this one's for me. This is the topic
Danny's
that I'm going to bitch about.
Topic is third base.
Third base. I like that they clapped for me too.
Yep.
All right. So now I do this, and then I do this.
Pitch clock. You have 30 seconds to pitch.
Why the Cubs can't figure out their third baseman situation since Aramis Ramirez is beyond me. Like, even Chris Bryant, now it's been proven he was way too tall to play third. His back is broken forever from bending over for those little roletazos and throwing over to Anthony Rizzo, whose back also hurt.
10 seconds.
He probably gave him backitis on the ball during the COVID times. I digress. Why must we trade for a Jamer Candelario Part 63 every single goddamn year?
Stop your
It's bullshit.
bitching.
We need a better third baseman. Let's get the White Sox one because he hits home runs off of Kate Horton, at the very least.
Well, I mean, and you didn't even get into the Matt Shaw of it all. We have a guy.
I needed a minute. I needed a minute for that.
Who's hitting? I think I saw he has hit 5 home runs in 7 at bats.
Yeah.
At bats, 5 home runs or
You're
something.
wasting bullets, Cubs.
Insane. Or maybe it was 3 home runs and 5 at bats. I don't know. It was a lot, and he is just out there raking down there in Des Moines, and there's no reason for it. We don't have a third baseman. He's not getting better out there, playing against the little kids.
If
You know what I mean?
if there was something they wanted him to go down there and work on, and the moment that they think he's worked on it enough, which I don't know, maybe 5 home runs and 7 at bats is enough. I mean, we don't know who he's facing. We don't know the circumstances of everything, but the fact is we don't have a third baseman. Are you telling me that you can't, the problem is they don't want to get rid of any of these dudes. They don't want to get rid of Nicky Lopez. They don't want to get rid of freaking John Birdie. They want to still, they think the Justin Turner thing is going to work out. Like,
They could absolutely just get rid of Justin Turner. And I mean, then Shaw only has to be better than a 170 hitter. Like, that's all he has to do. And you're still out on top with Justin Turner being off this team. Plus, it costs less.
Dominic's bringing up the Angels situation, who have used 30 third basemen since Rondon's contract in 2022 or 2020. And the Cubs might use 30 this year. Well, just wait till we trade for 2 more because they're coming. If they don't solve this.
And there was a way through this whole thing. John Birdie actually came out hot and has since cooled way off. So, it's time for, sort of his experiments over. Nicky Lopez has never been there because of his bat. He is your defensive replacement late in the games if that's what you want to do. And Vidal Brujan, I don't know. I guess he could play everywhere. So if it's on Justin Turner is still the odd man out, even with as bad as Birdie has been.
Yeah, because at least Brujan will give you some defense. He can play some outfield. He can play all over the diamond. John Birdie's, got that kind of I don't know.
You don't need him.
You don't need him.
You don't need him. Like, you can get rid of Birdie and Turner right now and just move on.
Terry E says 286, 409, 560 / at Iowa right now for Shaw. Like, what, if you were waiting for him to work on something, he worked on it. Those numbers look great. 409.
That is a 969 OPS.
Nice. So, all right, it's your turn. You got to go.
All right, let's see what we get here.
All right, I'm going to give it another spin. I kind of hope you get Rose being Hall of Fame eligible posthumously. Ooh, but you've quit Twitter, but you still, I think you know how to bitch about this.
Oh no, White Sox Twitter. Yeah, this is going to suck because I'm so little on, but I've got to take. I've always got to take.
All right.
Pitch clock. You have 30 seconds to pitch.
All right. Everybody knows White Sox Twitter sucks. But guess what else sucks? Cubs Twitter. Guess what else sucks? All of Twitter sucks. Get off of Twitter. You know how you fix the White Sox Twitter coming into your feed? Get off Twitter. Just leave. There's no sense to be on that
10
fascist platform.
seconds.
It's freaking stupid. And if you're still there and you're bitching about White Sox Twitter, it's because you're still on Twitter. Get off Twitter.
Stop your bitching.
Fair. Yeah. And by the way, follow Bleacher Bunch on Twitter at Bleacher_Bunch.
Or Bleacher Bunch is over at Blueski. I don't do a lot on the socials anymore, but I am on Blueski because hey kids, I'm a young man.
I'm
too.
glad you are, because I just haven't taken it up yet. Like I'm doing the TikTokies. I'm trying to get into Instagram. I'm like reposting things a little bit there, like anything that needs to go out. But yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. And it's just so much shit going on all the time. And everybody's just constantly just giving their opinion about stuff. And it makes me embarrassed to give my own now, because I'm like, well, everybody's giving their opinions. I'm just going to watch the goddamn game. Like even I've been a little even less active on, well, for example, yesterday during the game, I was hanging out with my old co-host from Outside the Ivy. So like here I am with Michael Cerami and Luis, and we're having a great time. Remembering some old times, talking about the Cubs, talking about our lives now, because Michael had another baby. Luis moved. We spent an entire summer together with Kaplan and DeJesus and like the Big Hurt sometimes and Ozzie Guillen. Like we had a memorable summer together, So it's just wonderful to like be with those guys, and it's been wonderful to be with Sean. And so like when the Cubs are in town and I'm like hanging out at Ballpark Quarter, like I don't want to be just looking at my phone. You know what I mean? I want to experience these things and then come on the Sun Ranto show on a Sunday morning and like give you some of that vibe, show you some pictures, like as opposed to be constantly tweeting about every fucking at bat. Like we've been talking about this in the bleachers about like the follows that we like on social media and the followers that we're like kind of sick of their shtick. And I forget who Sean brought up. That's like, I think it's another UK baseball group. He's like, who drives me nuts? This other UK group. They're probably listening right now. He's like, they fucking tweet every goddamn play. Yeah. He rolls out to second. He hits into a double play. He gets a single, strikes out the side. Every fucking thing that happens, they talk about. He's like, I just can't. I'd have them in my feed, except for it's always just some mundane thing. It's like, I don't care. We all know that happened because we're watching the game.
Yeah.
Who is getting their play-by-play from this account's Twitter?
Right. Because look, if you want that play-by-play, you can do it on MLB.com for free. That part, the game day, doesn't cost anything. You just have to have an account.
Yeah.
And then you can watch exactly what is going on, and then actually watch a video of it if there's, if they decide to put the highlight up and stuff like that. But yeah, they must have a bot that they have programmed to do that, because otherwise, what a miserable existence, just sitting there and like just saying what happened. Sometimes I'll sit on Discord and talk a lot about the game and the plays, but I'm literally just trying to figure out, like, how can I make a joke about the play? Like, what can I do that's going to be something entertaining? What's a good GIF for this versus
exactly. We're just all entertaining each other in the Discord, which is the best thing about I think joining the Patreon, not to make it a Patreon commercial, but patreon.com/bleacherbunch. And you can join over there.
Alex and I went to the Iowa game,
I saw that. Yeah.
On Friday. Oh my God. Look, this is, I think, the third game Alex and I have tried to go to. The other two were in like April. It is always so damn cold that we have not made it through a game. We go Friday. It's 86, 87 degrees. It's windy as hell, blowing out to right. It's warm. We're feeling good. We're like, we're going to see some just home runs left and right. Like, this is going to be great. The temperature dropped 20 degrees. The wind did not slow down at all. And then it started to lightly rain. And we left after we sang the 7th inning stretch. We have not yet made it through a game. It was so cold. It's insane. I just don't even understand why college baseball plays their games when they do. It's because they want to get done before the MLB draft. But MLB, nobody cares about your draft. Move it into the fall. Let them play in the summer. I don't know, but good Lord, it was bad. And the Hawkeyes got their butts handed to them by Oregon, which, I mean, they're like the number 5 team in the country. So
this comment in the chat from Terry E made me giggle. Ironically, getting your play-by-play via Twitter is better than Marquee.
It might be more up to date earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, do you smell that? There, here he comes.
It's time to roll a big fatty and hop in your luxury caddy. Long as we're not dead, let's go face the Reds and hit homers in Cincinnati. Ha ha.
Cincinnati, and Danny, don't ever say "here he comes" again.
Well, we got the Marlins. We got the Marlins before and we didn't really mention that. We just played the Marlins. Now we're playing the Marlins again this week in Florida, though, this time. So it's annoying. I hate that. The whole schedule is like this.
Why? Every single year, we have these abominations of schedules that we've already played the Dodgers the entire season series. We've already played the Padres, I think, the season series.
Diamondbacks, the whole West, pretty much.
We're done with all these teams, and we haven't even played the Cardinals yet. Like, we haven't even played the Reds. This is the first time to play the Reds. Like, it is stupid. And then we're going to play Miami. We're going to play the entire season against, I think, 4 different teams, maybe 5 teams, before we ever play a single game against the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, I hate it. And we've only played the Brewers, and we played the Pirates. Brewers and the Pirates.
Played the Pirates and the Brewers.
So our 2 main rivals, we haven't even played. We're 2 months into the season. Yeah, and I kind of miss the 3 series. We don't need to play everybody every year. I don't think that is. I don't even mind if let's stop playing the AL. Let's just play the NL. Like, I'm fine with that. And then you have a World Series.
In the AL.
Yeah.
Especially now that everybody's got the DH, the AL isn't even an interesting game anymore.
Yeah.
I will say, pleasantly surprised with 2 series against the White Sox, both being 3 games. I hate 2-game sets, especially against the White Sox. Why are you going to set it up for you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one? Like, no, we need odd numbered games.
Well, today we're getting
5 games against them, and each year it switches back and forth which home team gets 3. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. We want a definitive winner. We do not want this situation where it's possible to have a tie.
Agreed. Do you have a Cubsler? Do you have the winners from last week?
We have a new Cubsler. The winner, did we actually pick a winner, or did we just say everyone was a winner?
No, I thought we did. I mean, that's your thing, bro.
Yeah. Well, no, I know we had winners for the last one. We talked about it on Bunch Ranto, and but I didn't know if we actually picked a specific person. But everybody is into the drawing for whatever we do at the end. But now I have a brand.
I remember that.
I have a brand new one. I think I might try to do a postcard situation with these, but I don't know. I'm still working on it. But anybody who wins, I will go in the arrears and get you for it. But here is the new Cubsler. This one, man, I kind of think it might be tough. Let's see. Up and down at the plate. Roy hit 23 bombs and All-Star in 08. Zorilla Award for this phenom, but just good, never great. Career 12 years long. Cubs got young Brigham in trade. All right, so that one, like I say, I think it's going to be tough, and I made it rhyme because why not? I'm not doing the Cubs poems anymore. Let's make these things rhyme. But up and down at the plate, Roy hit 23 bombs and All-Star in 08. Zorilla Award for this phenom, but just good, never great. Career 12 years long. Cubs got young Brigham in trade. And that is actually already posted on the Discord. I posted on Discord today when I got it done. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can access that. Otherwise, I'm going to post it on Bluesky after that. Danny, if you want to post it somewhere, wherever, it's fine. But you need to send an email to sunranto@gmail and put Cubsler 225 in the
heading
line so we can find it easily.
Couple people still checking in here. Alfie's here saying #chance. Blake is here saying #chance. It's one of your last chances to get in the chance because we're just about to pick it. But I got a few announcements for you. Ranterfest, it's just been tough to pick it, but I think we kind of settled on it today. We're going August 2nd. August 2nd, get your own tickets to the game. We'll have some sort of event on August 2nd in the morning, and it will be in the morning because it's a 1:20 start there. So we'll probably do something, 11 o'clock or something, maybe something after the game as well. And we'll either try to, and wherever we'll get you details, but just August 2nd, get your own tickets. Maybe a bunch of people would want to sit in the bleachers, but it's over $100, you can, and it's sold out. So you have to get them on the secondary. That's the other issue. I was just going to say that, but let's just stick with that date. I'll commit to it. I'll make sure Levante is available. By the way, I sent a big check to Levante. I was going to post about it and I forgot, but $650 total. That is including some money from Bill Elliott, David's father, who handed me $100 cash to put on the pile from the March Madness bit, plus the first 3 months of Patreon support. That 10% of your support to us goes to the Lost Boys. That all added up to $650. So nice. Thanks everybody for your hard work. I just sent the check this weekend. So August 2nd, I want to bring up, you guys remember when we raised a bunch of money for my cousin who had a stroke? She's a Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
Oh yeah, last year.
A lot of game. Well, she's not totally recovered from the stroke. I think that she's not going to recover too much more than she's recovered. So she doesn't have total use of both of her hands and arms and stuff like that right now. But she's recovered to the point where she ran partial of a 5K or something like that with her sister, my other cousin. And there was video of that going around. We're all very proud of her and our family. And this is another thing we're proud of her for. She wrote a book, and it's called Stroke of Reality. And allow me to read this real quick. Stroke of Reality, Jessica Sebastian opens up about the day everything shifted, New Year's Day, 2023, when she was suddenly hit with a hemorrhagic stroke. What followed was a long emotional road through hospitals, rehab centers, and quiet moments of fear, frustration, and strength. This book isn't filled with medical jargon or distant storytelling. It's personal, honest, and straight from the heart. Jessica shares what it really felt like to lose control of her body, to rely on others for the simplest tasks, and to slowly fight her way back to independence. And then it's a story of survival. I think it's up, I know Jessica. She's always been, obviously she's my cousin, but she's always been one of the most upbeat people in my family. And also somebody that really cared about keeping the family together, and one of the glues for our extended family, and just like, one of my favorites on the planet. And so I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I have not had a chance to read it. It only came in the mail yesterday. And I just shared the link to it in the chat. And I wanted you to maybe share another link for the Bleacher Bum Bible book, because while you're picking up Stroke of Reality by Jessica Sebastian, you should pick up the Bleacher Bum Bible book from Michael Cotton.
I don't even have the link available. Do you?
I can get it.
Yeah, let's. if you want, while you do that, I could go through the birthdays.
Yeah, tell me whose birthday it is, because I just ordered my replacement Ranter calendar, and I ordered one for Miguel because I gave him to Ronnie his to Ronnie Woo Woo.
Right. So these calendars are all over the place. But yeah, Daddy doesn't have a calendar anymore because he gave it to me, and so I'm doing this, and I'm going to actually backtrack a little bit. I'm going to go back to the 13th. John Benedict had his birthday on last Tuesday. Margot Anderson was on Wednesday. Todd Emmons was on Thursday. Rob LaFrance on Friday.
Oh.
Rob was who I sat with during that. I was sitting in his seats when I saw Lester bunt and Hayward score to walk that game off.
You were with him? You were with Rob?
Yep. It was, I think it's the only time I've ever met him.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hanging out with him, and he had to leave early because he had to work the next day. He had to get up at like 4 a.m. So he was gone by the end of the game.
Yeah, he used to do early morning, like newspaper reporter, radio stuff, like interviews and things. He'd get up real early. Yeah.
And then Aaron Moran on Saturday.
Okay, that's Jose Orlando's wife.
And then what's crazy, no birthdays on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, all the way until Cubby Steph on Thursday is the first one this week. And then Jeff Bjorn on Friday and Josh Oberheide next Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of May birthdays.
Yeah,
Cubby,
but weird that we have like 4 straight days with none.
Cubby Steph is she's got a GoFundMe going on right now on her ex and probably wherever else she is. But I saw it on X because her dog needs a surgery, and I know that they lost their restaurant during COVID. Her and her husband, with all the shutdown stuff, and they lost their restaurant, and now they're trying to get this surgery for the dog, and they're just like tapped out financially. So and I gave $10. Like I always try to give $10. I know so many people. If I gave $100 to everybody, I wouldn't have any money. So I have to give $10 to everything and just kind of retweet it and do my best. But anyway, if you're feeling like getting a surgery for a dog and helping out a fellow Cub fan, Cubby Steph is on Twitter. Just look her up and find that GoFundMe. All right. I think that's it. Oh yeah. Ronnie Woo Woo. Yeah, I did want to bring that up. I talked about it a little bit before. Just keep sending him stuff. He's at the Pearl in Evanston. You can look up that address and just Ronnie Woo Woo Wickers, send him cards, send him some lottery tickets. He loves it. So hashtag chance in the chat. Oh, TFCs. God, we're going long. This is a 2-hour show. No surprise.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't even do anything. We didn't even talk about the Cubs barely.
And it's not even a 2-hour. We're still at 142, Danny. We got a ways to go. We haven't done a 2-hour show in quite a while. Yumper has been blowing me up, bitching that we're not going 2 hours. So, and you're not going to get it today either, Yump. That's just not going to happen with this like a distance.
It's like a mega church ceremony here on a Sunday morning. The Catholics got you in and out in an hour, and they do a lot of shit. They got a couple readings. They got some lunch, bread and wine. They got you're shaking hands with people. You're standing, you're kneeling. You do that like 5-6 times. Catholics get that all done in an hour. This is mega church style. It's like we're down in Texas right now. Yeah. It's just 2 hours to get out of the parking lot. So, like Dodger Stadium of podcasts over here.
Yeah. Well, here I've got. I do have a couple of TFCs coming off of the Reddits, and the first one, this one right here, it is a picture of a Chicago Cubs spring training Mesa, Arizona hat. It's like this looks pretty old, And somebody asks, let's see, whose signature is this? And it's really hard to see probably for you guys, but it's very clearly Will Clark. I don't know why on this Cubs hat Will Clark signed it, but it is very clearly Will Clark. And of course, everybody is making fun of this guy because it's like, how do you not know? Even if you don't know who Will Clark is, you can read the damn thing. But Irvman51 says, well, he actually says, we Clark, WII. I think it's Clark, the mascot's video game name. And I just thought that
Clark.
We Clark. I just thought that was pretty funny.
Does anybody play Wii anymore? I've got 2 of them, and neither one of them are hooked up. Or I got one here. This is about the wave. It's this is from Long Drinker. They were not. A lot of people were mad at the fan policing going on about the wave. We had to explain to a lot of newbies that, hey, this is just like a 40-year-old tradition that we're just trying to uphold, if that's cool with y'all. Like, we're not trying to like shit on anybody's good time, just don't do the fucking wave. But the response was pretty severe. This one from Long Drinker said, baseball hardos acting like the wave is some sacrilegious act is cringe and gay.
Come on, Long Drinker, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with being gay. Using that as some sort of a slur is the biggest cringe bit of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And also keep the fucking wave out of Wrigley, man.
Is it gay to hate the wave? Like, I don't know. That's what I'm wondering about.
One thing I know 100% is throwing your hands up in the air and yelling is something gay people hate.
I like that he called us baseball hardos, though. I just enjoyed that.
That could be my new obvious shirt.
Yeah, baseball hardo.
I'm gonna get it. My next personalized jersey will say Hardo on the back of it.
Yeah. Should we call ourselves the Sun Hardo Show? You got another one?
It. Okay, so I do have another one. This one is a Rizzo TFC. Realistic Necessary 50 posted, Dear Cubs, DFA Turner, sign Rizzo. And he put up a picture of Rizzo with his hands in the air, that we all know. And he says, Rizzo can hit 175 for you as a backup first baseman. And then, of course, everybody jumping in, piling on. Here's just one of them. Metra Conductor says, this is such a loser mentality. Bring back my favorite player. You don't even have to play him. It'll just smooth my fragile, thin skin like a warm cream, which I don't know, I just appreciate the whole warm cream thing.
The whole sentence is good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Realistic Necessary response. Yeah, whatever. LOL. Definitely turned off reply notifications for this one.
There's something we all should do more. Just tweet shit and then turn off the replies, and then you just be much happier.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So this is from Baseball Hardo Will, who I've actually been hanging out with a little bit this week. If you don't know Will, I think he's going by Will Stradamus. Sometimes he's been on the Ranto.
I hope he smells
Discord.
better than Cub Stradamus.
Oh, he does. I've been hanging out with him out there at the ballpark. He's been there. But this had to do with people going back and forth about the wave. And Will Stradamus said, LMAO, and you should come out from your parents' basement, look under the sink, and take a double shot of Drano, double donkey punch yourself, and go play in traffic on Lakeshore Drive. Touch some grass, go Cubs. And he tweeted out a cloud saying, I love stupid people. They make me look smart. I'm like,
oh my God.
This is a classic TFC.
That is, yes. There's something about TFCs that just continue to build.
Yeah.
And then it ends real nice. Go Cubs.
I don't know if a double shot of Drano is enough, though. The Lakeshore Drive might be more effective, I think, because people aren't stopping.
But if you do the double shot of Drano, you won't even feel what happens to you out on Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah, maybe you do both. You take the Drano, run out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yumper says in the chat, the At the Show podcast goes deep and the Sun Ranto show goes long. I think that's not true anymore. At the Show, which is Yumper's podcast talking about movies that you all should go out there, especially go to YouTube and support them. Just subscribe to their channel so they can get their numbers up. And, I know some of them have been doing it for us on the Bleacher Bunch channel. If you haven't done that, subscribe to the Bleacher Bunch. Maybe someday we'll be able to get ads placed for things that we hate on our shows. So, but they'll pay us for it at least. But yeah, so go over there, smash the like button, Lil Yumper says. But yeah, they're great guys over there. And I've started writing a little bit for them. I wrote something last week. The name of my column is "You're Not Gonna Like This." So I'm writing things that I think people won't like. Last week was all about how spoilers don't exist, and being a pain in the ass about spoilers is the issue, not actual spoilers. So go check that out at sadisticpenguins.com.
Very cool. Well, that's the show. I'm going to go out and hang out with some popes in the bleachers. There were quite a few out there. Was there anything more predictable than a bunch of freaking neckbeards from the South Side dressing as the Pope and coming to the Wrigley bleachers trying to get on fucking TV?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nothing more. People even said to me, like, dude, you should go out there dressed like the Pope. I'm like, oh, with like 7,000 fucking other people? No, thank you.
Well, and to make it worse, I think other guys came the next day with Cubs Pope hats.
Yeah, they were there
to counteract the Sox Pope hats.
They were there all week. It's just going to be a hot Pope summer.
I love it. The hot Pope summer.
Better than a hot poop summer, let me tell you that.
Yeah. I did want to say I'm going to be at the game in the bleachers Memorial Day, Danny. We did end up getting tickets. Emily's got a friend who lives in DC who's going to be in town, and they're getting some people together to go sit in the bleachers. And so we got our tickets. So I think that will be my first Wrigley game this year.
That's this coming Monday?
It is 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. Okay. All right. Great.
I don't know, man. It's a holiday though. Yeah, it's June. Oh wait, maybe it is this week. I don't freaking know.
I know that the Cubs are gone. They're leaving town, and I'm going to the games in DC. See, Memorial Day weekend is the 26th. And
so that's this coming weekend.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I got bad news for you. For the Cubs aren't in town. So
what the hell are we doing then? I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's June 1st.
Well, why aren't they playing though? They got the Rockies and the Cubs on the Tuesday. Am I seeing this wrong? No, they got the Rockies on Monday. Sorry, it's just my calendar. I'm looking at my calendar. It's all fucked up.
I thought they were playing the Rockies.
No, they got the Rockies at 1:20. All right, I'm confused.
Which sucks because I've seen way too many Rockies games in my life, and they're terrible. But at least it'll be the first game of the series, and they'll be playing a terrible team. So we should see a good game.
Well, cool. I'll try to get out to that game too. I think I'm off that day. I didn't realize that was Memorial Day is a little early this year, May 26th. That seems like it's usually a little later, but
right.
All right. Well, there's the show, and I'd like to thank our Patreon supporters. If you would like to be one, patreon.com/bleacherbunch, especially our Patreon supporters, Blake Beard, who's here tonight, Rogue Wave Creative, Mike Waller, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast. We got Bricks Behind the Ivy, Cubs Pod to thank. Eli's been coming on doing a bunch of the Cubs Pod. He does a great job too. Your son, you must be proud.
Yeah, and he will be doing more because he's now in the house. He's done with school. He got, like I said, he got here yesterday. So he's going to pick up 1/4 of the games throughout the summer.
Yeah, and I think Jeff Rogowskis, once he gets settled in on his new job, he wants to jump on a few of these too. Also, we have Baseball Rabbit Hole, new episode. We've got Cup of Cuppy Blue, which hasn't released a new episode in a second. Me and Sarah are busy living our best lives at Wrigley Fields instead. We'll come back and talk about once the Cubs leave town. It's the beauty of having a podcast conglomerate is like we can keep shooting shit out through that feed every couple days, if not every day, and miss a couple shows with a couple of the shows. Anyway, hashtag chance in the chat. We're going to give away a chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. It's your last chance to get in the chance. Let's draw it. Boom.
Oh, let's see what's happening here. All the names flying around on this early Sunday morning.
Jerry Zanutig. Congratulations, Jerry. I think it's first time winner for Jerry.
I think so. That's not a name that I remember.
It's not a name I have an address for either, so I got to figure that out. So good luck to me.
Jerry, send an email to sunranto@gmail.com and give Danny your address so that you can sometime in the middle of the summer you'll get a Frank Chance postcard.
So thanks to Matt Cameras Permanent Paintings. Check out his Etsy store for all the great artwork that you see behind our heads right now. You can purchase it there.
Jerry says it's the third time he's won, and you do have his address.
All right. Well, I'm wrong about everything. So please disregard everything I've said on this podcast. So that's the show. I will be. So what do you got, Bill Sugars? Which hardo do I need to blow to win a chance? I don't know. Maybe the guy from Blue Man Group in your profile pic.
Bill, go out there and try and win a Cubsler, and you got a better chance there because it's not random.
So there's your show. Please like, subscribe, mash that like button, as they say in the business, and we'll be back next week probably. And nothing's guaranteed. So here's a song about the White Sox old broadcaster, Hawk Harrelson, which I wrote a David Bowie parody called Dumb Hawk Harrelson because that guy freaking sucked. Yeah. So Spagog.
Hawks calling White Sox games on the south side of town. But now he won't come to Wrigley Field, 'cause Hawk hates the Cubs. It's just a can of corn, can't stand Joe West or Bud Selig. Bashing the umpires, Hawk's such a homer. Hate when he says you can put it on the board, yes. Oh my, he's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson. Dumb Hawk Harrelson, dumb Hawk Harrelson. He's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson. Oh my, he's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson. No one likes Hawk Harrelson. I'd really hate my life if I was Steve Stone. He must want to rip off his ears when Hawk says stretch and yells he gone. Oh my, he's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson. Dumb Hawk Harrelson, dumb Hawk Harrelson. He's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson. Oh my, he's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson.
Oh no! No! He was safe to no! And another blown call by Hernandez. No! This rule is BS. That's what it is. Pure, simple BS.
Says Dagnummon when it's not a holer. Calls a broken bat single, I'm mad I'm out of cola. Sit back, relax, and strap it down. He'll say it's the same damn thing every single damn day. I think the Hawk is so annoying. Shouting mercy, you gotta be bleeping me. Big cack, no contact, and get a corn. Criticizing umpires, Hawk doesn't like the call. He hates the north side and won't come to Wrigley. Hawk's not welcome in the friendly confines. Stay down south with your stupid is in the broadcast booth is where the Hawk wants to die. Oh my, he's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson.
It's not
Dumb
baseball.
Hawk Harrelson, dumb Hawk
It's just not
Harrelson.
baseball.
He's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson. Oh my, he's just a dumb Hawk Harrelson.
That is a flat out absolute disgrace to the umpiring profession what this guy has been doing.